Okay, so we have in assignment 3 worked through introducing it, worked through storyboard sketching, understanding how that should feature a transformation, even in just 9 keyframes. Then how you set up your assets, and then how you set up your stage. This is how you build your frames, and then the stage is where you keep them, like a finished film strip. Learned how to run animation tests from the stage in Photoshop. And then we just animated. Now what I've done to make it a little bit easier is in the assignment, we're working on assignment 3, it's due by 11:59 tonight, right? What we've done is in the assignment, I've added that animation workflow. So this is a good way to start. Just open up the assignment. You want to make sure you post at least your rough storyboard sketch so you have something for the assignment deadline, which is today. But then at the bottom of the directions, I've photographed that image I put on the whiteboard of our animation workflow, moving between assets and the stage. You know, with every frame you create, you go through these 10 steps. And it goes quite quickly, but this is what you can do and what I recommend, so you don't have to look up at the screen to see it. You're going to drag it from the assignment onto your desktop, and then you can open it up right in preview. Just double click it and then shrink it off to the side. One reason we animate in squares instead of widescreen, there's lots of reasons, but one of them is so you can use your screen size really effectively. The other thing you want to have open is your storyboard sketch. So if I find mine, it's posted already. There it is. I could take this and I can move it to my desktop, and I can double click and have that to view. So everyone should be looking at their storyboard sketch, even if they end up deviating from it a little bit. It helps that you understand where your transformation is, what you want to build to, how you want to resolve it, and then, if you can, how you can set it to reset so that it loops smoothly. So now I have both of those open. The 3 components required by 11:59 tonight to get everything in on time is the rough storyboard sketch. Already turned that in. Now our GIF animation, which needs to feature the transformation and something we've created already, and it needs to be formatted to 8 inches by 8 inches at 100 pixels per inch. Helping students in the class yesterday, several of them were still at full print resolution, which when you're making like 50 frames of animation, if you're doing it at 13 inches by 350 pixels per inch, that's not going to run as an animation. That's way too much resolution. So this is what we asked for, 8 inches square at 100 pixels per inch, because that's for a high-def screen. And then once we're done with our GIF transformation, then we can post that. I'll be showing you how to save that today. And then we're able to, from that, make our final storyboard, which will be 9 frames that we choose to tell the story. And this is a printable version of your animation work. Okay, so what do? We find our master folder. There's mine. Open it up. We find our assignment 3 folder. Maybe we've backed it up. If we've backed it up on a thumb drive and we've worked on it, we want to bring that whole folder from the thumb drive onto the desktop or back into our computer so that we save it, so that we're not working onto a remote device. That really slows things down. And then we want to open the assets and the stage file. So I'm going to select both of those, and then because they're PSD files, just double click to open them up. So opening up those files, you want your assets on the left, you want your stage on the right. And the reason that I'm not seeing my last made frame on the stage is because I had run an animation test before I saved it. And what the animation test does is it programs this eyeball. So I just have to turn on my last frame. Now, I can remind myself by just running a quick animation test again from my stage. I go to Window, I go to Timeline. So much of animation is just organizing your stuff, right? So now I can play this. This is what I have so far. And I like it all except for that last frame. I think it's kind of clunky. So to change it and to add to it, I need to take all of my timeline frames, and I want to note the timing that I have on there, but I'll play with that later. And I want to drag them to the trash, and then I want to say window, and then I want to turn off timeline. By the way, if you ever lose anything that's important, you lose your toolbar, you lose your layers, you lose your history, you can always find it under window. You see the check marks there next to the things that are showing. So I'm going to uncheck timeline. Okay, so it's these frames, these last few frames, those two I'm good with. This one, I think the Skeletor is too harsh. So I'm going to mark that red because I'm going to try to replace it with something better. So sure enough, I go to my assets, and that's the stage, or that's the frame that I had set up most recently. So let's see what I can do with those components to make it a little more subtle. So maybe from this to this would be better. And I think that is. You see how the hair is falling, and now it's gone. Maybe I'll do the last little bit of the hair. So let's find the hair. There it is. Make a duplicate of it. And then, because hair kind of can catch the wind a little bit. So there'll just be a little bit of it showing. Okay. So now, if this is my next frame, this is where the animation workflow comes into play. And I am at this stage on this side of my transformation. We really do want to be in the last 3 keyframes if we can. I want to work up to that. So I look at my animation workflow, and we start from the beginning. Have I set up my desired frame in assets? Yes, this is my desired frame. And I have that little bloody kind of stump of the body. Okay, next, I'm going to click the topmost visible layer, which is going to be my rock prop right in the front here. I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to say Layer, Merge Visible. And then I can say Command A, that's step 3 to select it all. Command C, step 4 to copy it all. Then I click on my stage, and Command V. I've done Command V on the stage to paste in my next frame. So I like this frame more than this one, right? So I'm going to edit out that from my stage. All right, now I'm kind of remembering myself now. I'm back into the animation workflow, and I can save my new stage, Command S, and I can go back to my assets, step 7, and then do Command D to deselect, and then delete to clear, and now I'm going to set up my next frame. So my next frame, I'm going to bring in, let's see, I'm going to work from the bottom up here. I'm going to play with, let's see, adding some atmosphere. I'm going to play with stretching it, cross, just lightly. So I can always see the difference by going from my stage to this. I'm going to play with the background color. I'm going to duplicate it and then play with hue saturation. It's supposed to be really spooky and strange. It's going to go more purple. Pink. Then I'm going to, let's see, I got to use the body, this thing, and I need it to kind of puppet warp and fall away. because I don't want it just to drop like the hair. I want it to actually kind of fall backwards. So puppet warp allows me to pivot it on the feet and then just push it back like that. Then hit return. And then that hair is going to disappear completely. Oh, that's not the hair. Where's the hair? The hair is here. Don't need that anymore. And then the skull, let's see, I'm going to actually fade this out a little bit. But I'm also going to move it a little bit, just with my arrow keys. So it kind of rotates. And then the Skeletor, I'm going to start fading in with overlay mode, like this. So if I do Command 0, it will fit it all on screen. If I hit Command 0 here, I'll fit it all on screen. And I can see, okay, does this make sense as the next frame? The kind of melting skeleton and the body falling back. If anything, that body is maybe falling too far to the left, so I'm going to move it a little bit. This is adjusting frame to frame, why it's called frame by frame animation. And even though I tilted it from the feet, I'm just going to go ahead and push it a little bit more towards the center. So I think that will look better. And then check it. Yeah, that works better. Okay, now I'm ready to do the animation workflow. So I've set up my desired frame. So step 1, click on the topmost visible layer, hold down Option, go to Layer, Merge Visible. The combined layer is there. Hit Command A to select it all, Command C to copy it all, click on the stage, Command V to paste it in. And it did paste it in, but it pasted it in not on the top of my frame, because you need to select the top frame of your stage if it doesn't change it immediately. And now Command V, paste it in. Boom. All right, keep going. This is now step 8. I've clicked on assets already. I want to hit Command D to deselect and then delete to clear it. And now I want to set up my next frame. I'm going to play with the atmosphere. I'm going to grow it. This kind of dark mist is growing behind everything, starting to obscure things. I'm going to play with the color. And maybe I'll just play with past versions. Maybe just add a little bit of this. So I'll just play with the opacity. That's too much. Yeah, so that works. Okay, now the body needs to fall back a little bit more. So I make a duplicate of it, turn off the one behind, transform it. I'm just going to do a simple rotate. And push down. And this will probably be the last time I see that body. And if I want a little extra emphasis, remember, the tablets are open at the back. You can add pixels for this. I haven't done this yet, but it'll be a little fun. I'm just going to add little spurts of blood as it falls. So I draw with my lasso tool. I hold down Shift so it does multiple. And then I'm just going to say Edit Fill just on this layer with a color. And that color is going to be a blood red. Very bright, very noticeable. All right. Now I get to play with the skull. Can duplicate it. Can play with fading it out a little bit more, around 50%, and then using my arrow keys to move it a little bit. Kind of down and around, because I wanted to kind of do this kind of thing, kind of shaky cam. It's funny. What would the face look like on top of it? Ooh.